There's a reason why professional wrestlers usually get offended by the term fake in reference to pro wrestling. It's because wrestlers put their lives on the line. They grind, they toil both mentally and physically for the sake of our entertainment. Every professional wrestler has dealt with some type of injury, whether large, small, persistent, or short. Most, if not all, have suffered some pain in the ring. And injuries don't simply refer to a banged-up knee or a minor headache. As you will see on this list, even the highest-profile superstars in the business have undergone torturous injuries, including near-paralysis, concussions, torn shoulders, quadriceps, broken necks, broken backs, and more. In this list, we take a look at 10 times top WWE superstars suffered real injuries during a match. Number 10. Cesaro suffers an unusual dental injury. No Mercy 2017. In what was a pay-per-view that featured Roman Reigns versus John Cena, Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman, it's ironic that the most memorable moment of physicality was the sight of Cesaro missing teeth. During a tag team match that saw Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose take on The Bar, Cesaro suffered a bleeding injury from the mouth when he connected with the ring post head first. Cesaro's tooth instead got lodged into his gums, something that is incredibly painful just to say out loud. He was cleared by the doctors to continue and put on a show-stealing performance, which was usual from him, coming up short for the tag team titles and coming up short on teeth as well. Number 9. Shawn Michaels' devastating back injury. Royal Rumble 1998. In a high-stakes WWE title match, one unfortunate move meant that the showstopper wouldn't be a part of the biggest years of WWE in the Attitude Era. A major spot saw The Undertaker taking on Shawn Michaels in the WWE title match, a casket match, giving him a back body drop over the top rope. Michaels' lower back, unfortunately connecting with the casket at ringside, herniated 2 discs in his spine, and reportedly he crushed a 3rd disc in his back as well. While Michaels retained the title in the match and would go on to make the main event of WrestleMania 14 against Stone Cold Steve Austin, the rising tides of WWE against WCW were not something he got to ride upon, as he would retire for 4 years, returning to the ring in 2002. Number 8. Triple H's torn quadriceps, Monday Night Raw, May 2001. It was a post-WrestleMania season in 2001, and Triple H formed the two-man power trip, an unlikely alliance with Stone Cold Steve Austin. During a tag team title match against Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit, the game went to break up the walls of Jericho's submission hold, only to tear his left quadricep muscle in his leg. It was a brutal injury, but Triple H would miraculously finish the match somehow, and if you thought that was crazy, he also allowed Jericho to put the walls of Jericho on him, a move that directly stretches your quads. Why? Despite not being able to put any weight on his leg, he still pulled through. However, the injury kept him out of the ring for 8 months, resulting in him missing the entirety of the Invasion storyline. However, he would return in early 2002 as the biggest babyface at the time, winning the Royal Rumble and heading into WrestleMania 18. Number 7. The devastating Shane McMahon-Kurt Angle match, King of the Ring 2001. This is the only match on this list where both superstars involved were injured to some level. The iconic King of the Ring match between Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon saw several brutal injuries. So many that even Vince McMahon wanted to stop the match, reportedly. Angle threw Shane McMahon through a glass panel, resulting in the prodigal son requiring 50 stitches after the match. As for the Olympic gold medalist, he suffered a concussion and a busted tailbone, so no one escaped without any boo-boos. Number 6. Brock Lesnar suffers near paralysis and a concussion. WrestleMania 19. WrestleMania 19 in Seattle saw Brock Lesnar just 1 year into his WWE run, headlining the biggest show of the year. The 2003 Royal Rumble winner looked to dethrone the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. Two collegiate wrestling greats in the biggest pro wrestling match you could find. What else could go wrong? Well, a whole lot. Angle entered the match himself suffering a neck injury, and people were concerned for him, but it was Brock after the match that people were most concerned for. In what was supposed to be a flashy, memorable finishing moment with Brock Lesnar hitting a huge shooting star press as a super heavyweight, turned into near disaster. He executed the move incorrectly, landing just short with a little margin of error, resulting in a concussion and near paralysis. Despite this, he continued the match somehow, groggy, and would finish Angle with an F5. Footage of Lesnar being escorted backstage showed him reacting frantically following what happened. Number 5. John Cena suffers a torn pectoral tendon in a weird way. Monday Night Raw, 2007. It was October 1st, 2007. John Cena was facing Mr. Kennedy on Monday Night Raw, and while you may think something like a major muscle tear would be caused by a big maneuver, it was surprising to learn that a simple arm drag forced Cena to tear his right pectoral tendon. Cena would complete the match, and while many thought he would be out long enough to miss WrestleMania 24 in 2008, he would miraculously return in a little less than 4 months to win the Royal Rumble match in Madison Square Garden. It was widely regarded as one of the greatest Royal Rumble returns of all time. Number 4. The Rock suffers several injuries. WrestleMania 29. This was the match that essentially forced The Rock to call it quits on wrestling for a while. During his WrestleMania 29 rematch against John Cena, the Great One suffered multiple injuries that must have made some movie producers pretty concerned. They included a torn abdomen, a torn abductor muscle, as well as a hernia. He would continue the match, and he put over John Cena, but it marked the end of him doing his big-time WrestleMania match thing. Yeah, we're not counting that 6-second match at WrestleMania 32. The injury resulted in a major delay in shooting the movie Hercules, costing the production millions of dollars. And maybe injuries like this kept The Rock out of future WrestleManias. Number 3. Sting's painful night with Seth Rollins. Night of Champions 2015. It's still surreal to think that Sting only wrestled 3 matches in WWE. Unfortunately, his final match for WWE was for the World Championship, and it resulted in what many thought was a career-ending injury at the time. Seth Rollins, defending the title, would hit the man called Sting with a buckle bomb into the corner. The 56-year-old WWE Hall of Famer seemed to be in bad spirits after the maneuver and unable to move for a period of time. It was pretty scary. He managed long enough for Rollins to finish the match with an awkward pinfall, but it was clear that something was wrong. Sting suffered serious spinal injuries. There was no hard feelings towards Rollins, who Sting praised as being the best in the world at the time. The legend has since found a resurgence in All Elite Wrestling, and he looked great in all of his matches since he's been back. Number 2. Finn Balor suffers a dislocated shoulder against Seth Rollins. SummerSlam 2016. The same maneuver that got Rollins in trouble with Sting came up again when Finn Balor's career-defining moment ended before it could even start. He faced Seth Rollins to determine the first ever Universal Champion at SummerSlam 2016, and that damn buckle bomb did it again, this time outside the ring on the barrier. Balor would bravely continue the match, enduring through it all, going on to beat Rollins and become the first Universal Champion. Unfortunately, he had to vacate the title the very next day due to the injury, and was out of action for over 7 months. He has yet to reach that championship level since. Number 1. Owen Hart breaks Stone Cold Steve Austin's neck. SummerSlam 1997. Despite the match not being the main event of the night, Hart vs. Stone Cold is still the most widely remembered bout on SummerSlam 97, for all of the wrong reasons. Despite Austin's reported reluctance to take the maneuver, Owen Hart went through with a variant version of the pile driver, sitting down on his rear end rather than dropping to his knees a la The Undertaker's tombstone. This led to an unfortunate collision on the mat for the Texas Rattlesnake, who suffered temporary paralysis in the ring and a broken neck. The awkward scene that would follow would see an impromptu roll-up pinfall by Austin, winning the match, but he would be forced to relinquish the WWE Intercontinental title due to the injury. It was cited as a reason that would lead to his eventual retirement in 2003. What did you think of this list? Subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling for more content just like this, and get into the comments below.